23 miles per hour, 23! Michael Jordan!
The Emove Roadrunner SE sent to us by Voro Motors. This is a seated electric scooter, and we're gonna be sharing with you what this is all about. Let's just jump right into it and talk about the unboxing experience.
Yeah, it came in really great condition, very lightweight. This thing only weighs 30 pounds. So this is a 42 volt, 2 amp output charger. The RoadRunner SE is a 36 volt, 10 amp hour battery, so it should take you 5 hours to charge from empty to full. Nice. Looks like installation is gonna be a breeze. I had to insert the stem into the frame and then install the handlebars. I'm not a car expert by any means, but I'm pretty sure that's made to look like a Lamborghini key.
So out of the box from the factory, this has a speed limiter.
It's kind of weird that they'd even have a speed limiter cable for 14 miles per hour, even though it only goes 20 miles per hour. But now I should be able to go faster.
Let's go over a walkthrough from top to bottom.
Starting with the cockpit, we have manual brake levers, turn signals for the rear, horn, keyed ignition. There's only one speed setting, full twist throttle. They call this Harley Davidson style handlebars, which I almost think is comedic at that point, because I don't really think this looks like a Harley Davidson at all. Some cable wrap. All the cables are externally wrapped for easy modifications and servicing of the scooter. And they also call this a sit-down electric scooter bike. It's almost like it's having an identity crisis. You have a small light on here with 2 LEDs. Coil suspension that you can lock out and adjust the preload on. The website doesn't really spec out the suspension, but my guess is it's like 30 millimeters of travel, maybe 40 millimeters. Plastic fender, 14 by 2.5 inch tire, which is like a hybrid tire. It's got a nice rounded profile, but a little bit deeper treads on it. It's a tubeless pneumatic tire that's 14 inches by 2.5 inches, 180 millimeter brake disc with mechanical disc brakes. In the center of a frame is a 36 volt, 10.4 amp hour battery, and it's really lightweight, almost like it's nothing. What do you think, Jimmy? How heavy do you think this weighs?
Yeah, I guess all together it could be 10 or 11 pounds, but it's just so big and it feels...
Yeah, it's definitely not full. So this is about the same size that you see on the regular RoadRunner. It's almost like they use the same casing but didn't put as many battery cells in here. One thing I do like about this battery design is that on the RoadRunner Pro, the key is actually built into the battery itself, and you could bend that when you're trying to put the battery in and out of the scooter. I do like that the keyed part is part of the frame instead of on the battery. We'll slide this in. They have made the pegs better as well. They have better threading on them, and they feel pretty secure. Small little kickstand that does pretty well. Moving to the rear, you have another 14 by 2.5 inch tire with the 180 millimeter brake disc and mechanical disc brakes. Another plastic fender, quick disconnect for the motor cable, and then right above that is the rear tail light with turn signals inside of it. There's a 350 watt motor with a peak output of 500 watts that gives you max speeds of 20 miles per hour. It's an aluminum frame that says it can withstand speeds of up to 80 miles per hour, a nice big saddle, and overall a very simple design.
The reason why the frame is rated for up to 80 miles an hour, even though this, while stock, only goes up to 20 miles an hour, is because they expect folks to modify this so that they can get those higher speeds.
It's really easy to lift because it's only 30 pounds, and I could pretty much curl this with one hand. It's a little awkward. It's not too heavy at all.
Let's talk about what we like about this little e-bike, e-scooter-ish type vehicle. I like that it's small, it's lightweight, it's portable, and it's great for people that don't like the whole standing experience of an electric scooter. They want something that feels more like a bike. Actually, my mom has something like this. I got it for her, and it's great for her because she doesn't have to swing her legs over a big bike. It's small, it's easy to get on, it's easy to ride, and easy to control. The other great thing that this has going for it is it's like a blank slate. If you're into customizing and you want to make a super little fast moto bike type deal, this is a great way to start off. We've ridden with group rides where folks have taken something like this, totally customized it, totally tricked it out so that they're going like 60, 70 miles an hour. Pretty incredible, and this frame is rated to go up to 80 miles an hour.
For $799, I don't even think you could build this as cheap if you were to try to source all the parts yourself.
Having a keyed ignition makes it really helpful, especially if you're making quick trips to the store or to a friend's house, leaving the bike out, being able to turn it off and lock it helps me feel better that someone's not going to just take off with my bike. I love how the seat is so big. It's a small bike, but it's a nice long seat. That makes it so that you can have riders of varying heights. You could have kids that are 4 or 5 feet tall ride on this and they just sit a little closer to the steering wheel, or you can have someone as tall as Andrew up to 6 feet on this and he's just scooted back a little bit more in more of an aggressive riding stance. They have gotten rid of the foldable handlebar that we've seen in previous. All right, now that the geese have stopped quacking, the handlebars are really nice. They're wider, they're comfy. In previous versions, you've been able to fold the handlebars down to decrease the footprint when transporting the scooter, which was actually pretty nice. We don't have that option here.
The throttle has been improved. It used to be a thumb throttle and now it's that full twist throttle, which is a lot more responsive and doesn't break as easy. The display has been improved on. They've added these nice cleaner buttons to it. Pegs are now reinforced. Tires are now tubeless. So they've really worked through a lot of the issues that they had with the original version and improved upon them with the SE.
And some of the other problems from the previous version, I remember the battery, trying to plug it in was really difficult because the cabling would get in the way. The key was in a weird position. They fixed all that. So they've taken the feedback, they've taken the lessons learned from the previous versions, and they've really improved this version. But it's not perfect. We're gonna keep riding. On our next stop, we're gonna talk about the things that we don't like about the Emove Roadrunner SE. All right, Andrew is honking at the geese who are usually honking while we're trying to film. Let's hear that honk again.
At 20 miles per hour, I think it's fine, but if you upgrade this to 80 miles per hour, it's pretty worthless.
That's a good point. That's a 20-mile-an-hour horn. All right, let's talk about the things that we'd like to see improve on this RoadRunner SE.
There's quite a bit. It's an inexpensive scooter, but it's also inexpensive because there's a few cheap components on here. One thing was when I was just going to lift this up, this thing pulled up, which is fine, but then this little gasket on here, wish this was just a little bit higher quality material. It feels like it's made out of plastic instead of being made out of a gasket type material. And the mechanical disc brakes, they're all right. I worry about when I'm coming in pretty fast towards Jimmy that I can't stop in time. You can adjust them to be a little bit stronger.
Now the nice thing about these brakes though, they are adjustable. So hopefully if we play around with them a little bit, we'll be able to improve the performance of the brakes.
All the lights on this, they pretty much suck. So the front facing light isn't super bright. The rear facing light doesn't work well. The turn signals are hidden and they're really small. So I wish that the lights were either upgraded or not even offered on this thing. I'm
not sure why you need a speed limiter on a device that only goes 20 miles an hour, because the 20 miles an hour should allow this to fit under just about all regulations. Now that would be different if we're talking about having this for kids. If they're marketing this to kids, I can see why they would send this with the speed limiter, keeping this at 50 miles an hour max.
I do like that they've externally ran the cables for easy modification, and they were also having issues on their previous versions where the frames were snapping because the wires were running through a little bit of a hole, and that was a weak point on the frame. So I like that they've made them external, but this just looks like a mess to me.
And it's mainly because of the cable wrap. There are different types and different grades of cable wrap, some that look more sleek and refined. This one, it just looks like they wrapped a burlap sack around the cables.
Yeah, pretty much. The battery is really small, and I get that this is the economical version and they expect you to upgrade it. But if you compare this to other types of scooters in its class that go 20 miles per hour, a lot of them have a slightly bigger battery that's at least 12 amp hours or 15 amp hours.
The keyed ignition is nice. I talked about how I liked it. I just don't like how the key sticks out. I feel like it's going to get in the way, or my wrist, my hand is going to inadvertently hit the key or the keychain that may be attached to it, and that's going to cause the whole unit or the key to break. I don't like how you need two separate keys, one for the ignition, one for the battery. It would be nice if it was just one key that started the bike that could lock and unlock the battery.
The front suspension, I do feel like it's a little bit upgraded from previous versions, but there's not a lot of travel in it. The acceleration curve is very weak. It's not very fast, not very peppy. And then when you hit a hill, it goes very, very slow. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of people complaining about the servicing from Vora Motors. It's hit and miss. I've seen some people get some really good servicing, and I've seen a lot of people say they're not getting responses, not getting timelines. They don't have the parts to fix the issues. It becomes an issue because some of these people depend on their vehicles as their daily driver to and from work.
While we ride, we're going to finish this off and answer the question, should you buy the RoadRunner SE? If you like the small form factor of the mini bike in an affordable package and you're okay with going just 20 miles an hour max stock, then this is for you. If you're really into customizing and tinkering, then this is also for you. Check out our full written review at freshlycharged.com. Thanks for watching, and when you guys ride, wear your safety gear.